Listen here, you sexy creatures. Let's Talk with Sam Hastert is live.
Just kind of let the people know exactly what you have or what you do.
So I have 13 years of financial services experience, and part of that experience ranges from strategy, customer-centered design, all the way through to executive coaching. And what I have found over my years in the corporate space is, as I was supporting leaders and executives on perceived leadership challenges or, corporate challenges, as I started to unpack that as a coach, I soon realized that it had everything to do with them as an individual outside of work and less to do with them and who they are as an employee. And so that led me to study wellness coaching and dietetics and nutrition, because what I was finding was I felt like I had a gap in my own toolkit to be able to support people as a whole person. So by complementing that with the wellness coaching, when I was in sessions with people, I felt more capable of being able to support them as a holistic person, from how are you sleeping, how are you showing up, the balance that you're building into your life, all the way through to the challenges of the everyday work environment.
So as a wellness coach in your profession, what you do now, are you reaching out to people, or are they kind of going to you knowing what you have to offer?
I'd say a combination of both. What I have found through 2020 and particularly through this, COVID challenges that we're all experiencing, people's mindset and openness to coaching has expanded. So people who may not in the past have ever wanted to seek a coach or be open to the possibility of coaching through these challenges has realized that we actually need a support team around us. There's nothing wrong than having people in your corner cheering you on and helping you be your best every day. And so I've spent a lot more time in the past 6 months focusing and helping people set themselves up for success within the current constraints and focusing on what they can control in this situation, given that there is so much out of our control.
So when I think of like a coach, like what you do, is it my mindset is geared towards you're telling me what to do, not necessarily, hey, this is what you have to do in order to maintain this type of lifestyle or to change your mindset on something. That's kind of what my perception has always been. But the more I kind of dig deep into it, are you more so like setting, like giving the tools to somebody and saying, hey, here's what we can work on, here's what we can do? Or is it more so you telling an individual what they need to do or what they don't need to do?
So a couple of principles with coaching is I can't own the actions and the commitments more than you want them. And so the important part of coaching is for me as a coach to work with the individual to understand who are they, what do they want to be known for, and what are they trying to achieve in life. So by asking good questions and working through some coaching frameworks, I help people unpack what is already in their mind and rationalize it in a way that makes sense. So I always start with personal brand, because everything in life should be anchored from that. So life is around a series of choices and trade-offs, but it's really hard as an individual to understand what choices should I make and shouldn't I make, and how do I make informed trade-offs when I'm not clear on who I am and what I want to achieve in life. So personal brand for me is, what are your strengths? What are your values? What do you want to be known for? What gives you energy? And more importantly, what do you not want to do? And sometimes articulating what you don't want is just as powerful as articulating what you do want. Yeah. And the definition of success is different for everyone. Like some people define success by a dollar value and number of followers, and others just want the freedom and flexibility to enjoy their family. And there's no right way or wrong way. It all comes back to the individual's objectives.
I think that's also a fantastic point where I never really thought about it like that until you mentioned it, where you don't want to necessarily tell the person what to do or what to go forward towards, because I mean the obvious answer is, hey, improve exercise, do this to better your lives, but it's, hey, what don't you want? And
Yes.
let's kind of strive away from that, because if you just kind of like we talked about before, if you say, well, start doing this, start doing that, and a person says, well, I don't want to do this, you're kind of right off the bat giving them bad advice on their personal basis. Whereas, as a majority, of course, you could say exercise more, eat healthier. Some people just might not want to do that, whatever their case is. A lot of people don't think about it like that. They just say, what should I do, rather than what shouldn't I do?
Yes. And it's uncomfortable to look inward. And when you really unpack this, you may discover aspects of your life or your inner dialogue that you actually don't like. And that can be confronting for people. And so the value of having a coach is that you have a safe space to explore that and work through it with someone who has your best interests at heart with no judgment.
Mm. Yeah. You got to kind of dig deep on that personal level, and connect with them, rather than just, hey, I'm here for a job. It's kind of something you have to love to do, which I'm sure you are, loving what you do, or you wouldn't have gotten into it to begin with, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how has the COVID affected your stuff? Are you pretty much just web based right now? Are you still doing stuff in person, or?
So limiting face to face, obviously due to social protocols and social distancing. What I have observed though is people who in the past were closed minded to either coaching or connecting with someone they don't know have been more open. And so something like a Zoom call in the past, people, you wouldn't meet with a stranger on a Zoom call. Whereas now I find myself getting all these invites for people who want to connect, which I think is amazing. So I look at COVID, COVID as a virus is awful and there has been significant impacts to people's lives. So in no way do I want to discount that whatsoever. But in terms of disruption, it's creating this catalyst of invention and innovation, which is actually a really positive thing. It's forcing people to think about themselves and the way in which they run their business and show up in the world in a different way. And so instead of just surviving COVID and coming out the other end of it, having just, hung on, how do you come out of COVID being better? Whether that's with more knowledge, better relationships, a greater sense of inner calm, mindfulness practices, being healthier or fitter, whatever that is for you, there is an opportunity that COVID presents to us all that we otherwise didn't have in the past. And so what I've been able to do is to unpack with individuals, like, what is it about this current dynamic that presents you an opportunity that you otherwise didn't have? And so if I give you an example of that, for me, I commute in and out of the city every day. It's about 3 hours on average a day, so about an hour and a half each way. So you accumulate that over the week, that's 15 hours. Mm-hmm. So what I have found is I have gained 15 hours back in my day. And so now I have a choice. How do I choose to spend that 15 hours? I can spend it in bed watching a movie, I can read a book, I can go for a walk, I could hang out with friends, play a puzzle with my son. Like the possibilities are endless. Like 15 hours is a significant amount of time in our week. The difference between those people who will survive COVID versus those that will thrive through COVID is about the choice. So how do you choose to now spend this time in a way that serves you? And again, it comes back to personal brand.
That's a fantastic point. Because I mean, like you said, I mean, this whole thing is all new to us. Not a single person that's on this earth has experienced something quite like this. And it's one of those things where, like you said, you take your time off with what you can. Some people, of course, it's a struggle financially to be sitting at home. And then obviously, like you said, there's people that are severely impacted by COVID, whether it be the loss of a loved one or a friend or whatnot. But for the majority of people that are kind of continuing their daily lives to some extent, have had a lot of time off, like you, like me. And I think you do need to maximize your time with whatever you find interest in, which is the personal brand, like you said. But you can't, if your thing is watching a movie and binging your favorite TV show, then fine, that's good. That's what you want. But do what you want. Do what you love. Find a new hobby. Invest in yourself. You know, because like you said, you're either going to survive or thrive. I think that's a great way to look at it.